Hi everyone, my name is Taz, and I'm the owner of Videos and Venues, the blog, www.videosandvenues.com. And today I'm going to be speaking with Joel, the lead singer, guitarist, and songwriter of Anxious Giant. And he is the most recent winner of the Hive Studios songwriting contest. And I'll be speaking with him today to find out about how the recording process is going and his music life and a couple other fun questions. So just tell me a bit about the song you entered into the contest. What is it about? Why'd you pick that one?
Well, the song that we ultimately chose is Break a Spell. I entered a different song at first, but it was a song that I'd already recorded called Wild Heart. Then I sent Eric another song that I hadn't recorded called Break a Spell. The idea I had for this Break a Spell song was when I was in Europe. We went to all these museums and things like that, and all these art museums, and I learned about something called Impressionism and Expressionism, and I thought it was a cool concept because these Impressionists and Expressionist painters, the thing that kind of brought them forward was that they broke all the rules in art. So all the painting and art before Impressionism and Expressionism was like painting inside the lines, making it look as real as possible. And then Impressionist and Expressionism was more about painting outside the lines and breaking the rules. And it really pissed a lot of people off on that day. It's like, what are you doing? You're coloring outside the lines. That doesn't even look real. So Break a Spell was like, I'm going to break a spell. I'm going to break the rules that, or the things that the culture, the artistic culture and everything else has defined me by, and I'm going to break a spell. So that's kind of what the song's about.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you write it specifically for the contest, or had you written it a while ago?
I wrote it a while ago, yeah, when soon after that I came back from Europe, just visiting there in Europe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And how's the recording process going so far? Give us a bit about.
We're actually finished the song. Actually,
nice.
we finished it. It went really well. It was pretty quick with just 2 quick sessions, and the band came in and they just destroyed it.
Nice.
They just nailed their takes. Like our drummer is just a world-class drummer. Rob Ryan is just a world-class drummer. So he was able to lay those tracks down, and we just had a really good time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so, how long have you been with the band and writing music?
Well, I've been writing music for probably more than a decade now. So it's just one of my passions. Like I try to write like a new song every week. I used to write like a few songs every week. So the band is something that just happened over the past year. I called them on, or I found them on Craigslist actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. How did you come up with the name for the band?
Well, I was talking with some of my friends, and we were trying to think of names for the band, and then one of my friends' dads was like, "What about like the Anxious Giants?" Like as a joke, and I was like, "Hey, there's something to that." Just like and then we just decided to keep it to Anxious Giant. Just kind of liked that image of like vulnerability and strength at the same time. It was kind of cool, I thought. So Anxious Giant, and then I kind of gave it a try. I was like, "What do you guys think of Anxious Giant?" I put it on Facebook, and then I got a lot of like positive responses and likes and all that stuff. I was like, "All right. That's what we're going with."
Yeah, and definitely once you have people interested in that, you can't get rid of it then, right?
For sure.
So tell me a bit about if you would classify yourself as a specific genre.
I probably wouldn't. I like to dive into different types of genres. This song that we did is rock, but I also like classic pop, like Frank Sinatra kind of sounds. I love folk. The songwriter that really got me into songwriting, that really inspired me to be like a songwriter was Bob Dylan.
Okay.
So a lot of folk rock influence there too. So yeah, rock, folk, maybe a little jazz. It's hard to pin down any one genre for me, I would say.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna get into my fun section.
Ooh, the fun section.
Before I ask you the more deep questions.
Okay.
So the section, it's like a this or that kind of thing. So I'm gonna give you 2 options.
Okay.
And you're gonna pick one, but you're gonna tell me why. You're not just gonna pick one.
Okay.
So the first one I got is outdoor or indoor concert.
Ooh, whoa, that's a good question. I like that one. I would say indoor concert just because it's more intimate and the sound is always, in my opinion, better in an indoor concert.
Nice.
Yeah, I would say. So I would say indoor for sure.
Okay. Fender or Gibson?
I grew up playing a Fender. I grew up. The guitar that I went on was a Fender Stratocaster.
Nice.
So I would probably just naturally go to a Fender, but I do like Gibson too.
Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd?
Whoa.
Sorry.
Are you serious?
No, this one's hard. You gotta pick one.
Well, oh man. Okay.
It's hard for me to write it. So.
if someone put a gun to my head, I'd probably say Led Zeppelin, but it's hard to just push away Pink Floyd because I love Pink Floyd too. But yeah, probably Led Zeppelin. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I got two more for
Yeah.
you. Arkells or Cage the Elephant?
To be honest, I've heard both of them, but not enough to make a decision. I would say probably Cage the Elephant. Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
And threw this one in there for you.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber or Drake?
Drake.
Drake. Okay, that was a quick answer. All right. So the next section we're going to go to is just more about yourself in the industry. So
Okay.
what kind of artists are you currently listening to? Not Justin Bieber, clearly.
Whoa, that's a good one. Well, recently I've been listening to a lot of rap and metal,
Okay.
which
Very
is
different.
funny because that's not really the genres I play. But I find that sometimes you can get like ideas from genres you don't play in.
Yeah.
They'll have little things in those genres that you can still pick up and use for yourself, whether it's like some kind of chord or some kind of riff or some kind of intensity. Like I feel like sometimes I'll be writing a folk song, but I'll have gotten like inspiration from like a metal or a rap song that I heard in a particular like line or a particular even like folk like strumming riff. And I kind of find that when you listen to a genre outside of the genre you're writing in, sometimes it gives you just a different perspective on or a different idea than you normally would if I was listening to just another folk song or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been listening to like Slayer and like Metallica, which is not the style I play in. And then I listen to rap like Run the Jewels. I've been listening to a lot of Run the Jewels. I think they're just great. And Kendrick Lamar, I really like him too. So yeah.
What would you say your thoughts are on how the music industry is today? Like, how difficult is it for bands to promote themselves and make it in the industry?
Well, I think obviously the music industry has changed quite a bit right now. There's a lot of noise. There's just a lot of people promoting themselves. So it's all about being able to, instead of just promoting like this is my gig coming up or I'm releasing this song. It's about like connecting with your audience with like a story or with kind of showing them a side of yourself or engaging with them directly instead of just posting material. So if you can find a way, this is what I'm trying to do, trying to find a way to connect with your fans in a more direct and meaningful way than in the past. That's what I think will be the way forward for artists like me.
And you mentioned connecting with your like fans and audience. How do you do that with yourself and your band?
Well, like for my band, I found them on Craigslist, and it was kind of just like asking them questions, like what kind of music do you play? How long have you been playing? Like, and kind of getting to know them as a person too. And with fans, it's with like fans, people that listen to my music. Like I try to get to know people that like my music. I try to get to know like what kind of music are they listening to? What do they like? And like what would it be? What about my music would they like based on what they're listening to? I'm interested in that kind of thing.
Nice.
So I try to kind of connect with them on a personal level. I think that's what it's all about now. Like before, there was distance between the artist and the fan, and now I think in order for artists to connect to their audience, that distance has to kind of get less and less and less, no matter how big you are. I think that's how it's going to be. That's my
Yeah,
opinion.
that's definitely a great way
Yeah.
of looking at it. So with your band and yourself, do you perform live often? When's the last time you have? When's your next performance?
Right now I'm on hiatus. We're on hiatus. I'm heading back to BC in the next month. I'm getting married actually, but
Congratulations.
oh, thank you. But after that, we're going to continue and hopefully gig as much as possible. I mean, I love performing. I'd like to perform as much as I possibly can, even with whether it's like a house concert, me an acoustic guitar, or whether it's like a hall with a band. I don't want to limit myself to any type of performance. So I want to in the future perform as much as I possibly can. So that's not going to stop.
And speaking of performances, do you remember your first one with your band?
First one with my band, yeah, that was at Lee's Palace actually.
And how did that go?
It went good. We had better shows after that performance-wise. It was our first one. We were still kind of in our getting used to each other. We hadn't even known each other very well yet. I don't think I had even like a real conversation with the drummer quite yet at the time. We just were getting to know each other. But after that, we got to know each other, and things started to click really well. So yeah. I do remember that we were both all quite nervous for that one, actually.
Yeah, I bet. Everyone's first performance is
as
a
a
little
band.
bit nerve-wracking. Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you say you guys have improved since then?
Well, we just like as you get to know each other as people in a band, you definitely get to know each other like in a musical way too. So there's like a musical relationship that grows as a band. I think not just a personal one. So like we got to the point where like we didn't even really have to rehearse very much for our concerts because we knew each other so well. We knew the songs. So that was really cool. The band is just excellent. They're just excellent musicians and instrumentalists. So that made it really easy. I played in bands before where it wasn't quite the case, and it's a little more difficult. But these guys were just so good that it kind of clicked pretty fast, I thought.
Could you tell me a bit about the other members of your band?
Yeah. So there's Rob Ryan, and he is like a world-class drummer. Like he's just at the top of the line. I would say that he's one of the better drummers that I've ever met, or that I know of. And he did a presentation on Drumeo in Vancouver, so like he's taught to like a large audience. And then Jesse is a local bass player who's involved in many bands around here, and he's just an excellent guy, great bass player. And yeah, honestly, I don't think I could have found a better band here in Hamilton or musicians to play with. So yeah,
that's really good to hear.
Yeah, it's great.
Because it is definitely hard to find band members when
For
you're
sure.
trying to get something together.
For sure.
And,
yeah.
When you guys perform, do you guys do any covers at all, or just mostly original stuff?
Mostly original, but the one cover that we have been doing is Bob Dylan's "Like a Rolling Stone."
Nice.
So we kicked that one. We do a pretty good live version of that, I think. Yeah.
Awesome. So what would you say if you were to tell me what are the key ingredients to making a successful song?
Ooh, good question. Ooh, that's a good question. I would say the obvious things like lyrics, melody, and all that, but like there has to be something, that unnameable thing that kind of grabs you. Like for me, when I write a song, this sounds kind of silly, but like it has to be in my head for the next like 3 days or something after I wrote it. Like it has to be in my head, like that song I wrote. Otherwise, I'm not going to keep it because like the song that I wrote didn't even grab me. So like how is it going to grab anybody else? But if it's in my own head, for a good week after I wrote it, then I'll feel good about it, and it'll be in my head for whether it's the lyrics or the melody or just some unnameable quality about it. So yeah.
So if it's memorable to you,
Yeah.
it should definitely be for other people.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. I mean, there's that undefinable thing. I think like one song works and one song doesn't. But I'll always is that song that I wrote in my head or is it not? Is it grabbing me or is it not? So I'll try to intuitively gauge that.
Mm-hmm. Music definitely can be a full-time job. So I was just wondering if this is what you are doing all the time or if you do some other things on the side.
On the side, I teach English online to Chinese students right now. So that's been fun. I would love to be able to play music full-time. And I'm hoping that will be the case in the future because I'm not going to stop. If I'm 55 and I have like 4 fans, I'm still doing it. So, but that's not going to happen. But I'm still doing it no matter what. So it's like who I am. I've been doing it. I grew up in a very musical family. Mm-hmm. So my dad is a musician. He tours in Europe. So it's kind of just always been a part of who I am, both in my family background and in my personal life. So yeah, it's the long road for me for sure. I'm not going to stop ever.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Is there a place that you've ever wanted to perform? Any countries, certain venues?
Whoa. Those questions are so good. I would love to tour. I haven't toured Europe yet, and I would love to tour Europe someday. I have a German background, so I have like a German passport. And my parents live in Germany part-time. So I would just love to tour Europe someday. So there's everywhere from like France to Rome to Dresden, Germany, England. I would just love to do that someday.
Great.
Hopefully in the next few years, actually, because I have my passport. It's easy to get in there.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that'd be fun, definitely playing different places than what you're used to.
For sure.
What would you say has been your biggest challenge as a musician, either on your own with your solo work or in a band?
My biggest challenge is that I'm actually quite shy. I'm actually quite introverted.
Really?
I am. No, I honestly am. I honestly am. It's not natural for me to just reach out to people. I'm shy about a lot of stuff. So the challenge is kind of breaking out of that mold.
Right.
Getting out of my comfort zone and like really trying to connect with an audience on a personal level and not like in the past where there was a distance between the artist and the audience, but like make sure that I can do this as much as possible. Mm-hmm. So that is going to be my challenge and one that I hope that I can do well.
Nice.
Yeah.
And since you've been in the music industry for a while, if you were to sit and talk with bands or singers and other musicians that were just starting up, what advice would you give them?
What advice would I give them? Well, number one, this kind of hindered me in the past. Number one, do not care what anybody else thinks. When I was a young musician, I was both confident but insecure. It was 2 sides of the same coin. I was cocky, but at the same time, unsure of myself. But the first thing you got to do is not care what anyone else thinks. Like, if there's something there, there's something there for your music, and just do it. And if you love it, just do it and keep moving forward, and something's gonna happen. You know, it might be unexpected, but you know, if it's what you love to do, you know, keep doing it no matter what. Don't care what anyone else thinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely really important to remember, especially when you're trying to be unique in the music industry.
For sure,
You gotta
absolutely.
stay true to yourself, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
for sure.
Could you describe your music in 3 words?
3 words. Okay. Okay, so this is without sounding, you know, talking
The
about myself
first
too much.
3.
Well, I've been told a lot that the music is distinctive in the voice and the vocals. I've been told that my vocals have a distinctive quality to them. At first, that's one of the things I was unsure of. At first, you know, I got a lot of comments on that, what's going on. But now I've definitely embraced my voice a lot. So that's definitely the number one of them. So there's 2 more. Then I would say like there's kind of a seductive melodic quality kind of to it. And then I would say lyrics.
Okay.
I try to write I try to really think about what I'm writing. Like, you know, like the song Break a Spell, there was a story behind it, there was some thought behind it. So I try to work really hard on the lyrics, and I hope that pays off.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
I'm sure, yeah.
And where do you see either your own music or your band in 5 years?
Well, either for me or my band, like I'll be doing it no matter what. But I hope to be touring Europe. I hope to be touring a lot more often than I do now, and I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. So you know, at this point I'm very sure that if I you know, keep doing what I'm doing, that you know, it'll find you know, that audience.
That's great.
For sure.
So besides recording, is there anything that's coming up for either yourself or your band that people should watch out for?
Well, I plan on having another record, some released at some point, hopefully, because my dad and I kind of co-own a studio in BC. I hope to have either a record or an EP out in the next year or 2. I'm a very prolific songwriter, so I write songs all the time. So I also record as much as I possibly can. So there will definitely be no lack of recordings in the future and new songs. And I'm hopefully you know, breaking new ground on a personal level with these new songs. So I'm really excited about that.
Great. And for people who haven't heard your music yet, can you give us some links of how they can access it or the best way to have a listen?
For sure. You can either go to joelstrauss.bandcamp.com or anxiousgiant.bandcamp.com or anxiousgiant.com or facebook.com/anxiousgiant page, Anxious Giant Music, or just search Anxious Giant on Facebook and or Joel Strauss on Facebook, and you'll find me there. And definitely send me a message, and I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to chat. I'd love to connect with you.
Yeah, so that's practically the end of the questions that I have for you. So I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to talk to me, and congratulations on winning again.
Oh, thank you.
I can't wait to hear what the recording has turned out into.
It sounds great. I've never had. I don't think I've had production that good ever on a song. The guitars and the drums, and the bass, everything just sounds. They did such a great job on it. So.
And when we'll be able to hear it?
Actually, you can hear it now. There's a video, and we should mention that. Anxious Giant. If you just type in on YouTube, Anxious Giant Break a Spell, you'll find it on there, and you can check it out. It's all everything. The video's all recorded in here, actually.
So thank you again. And so that concludes our interview. So before I end, I just wanted to make a shout out to Hive Studios for letting us use the space in here. Shout out to Michael and Eric for taking the time to do the sound and set up in here. And for taking time out of their day to let us come in. Sure. Congratulations to you again, Joel, for winning the contest. And thank you to Bradley for taking the video for us. And yeah, so you can access this video at www.videosandvenues.com. It should be out in a bit. And yeah, so stay tuned, and I can't wait to hear the recording.
Oh, for sure. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.